Hello, and welcome to 2 Practices for Online Success. I'm Megan Blumenthal, a lecturer in UNCW's Department of English and the 2016 recipient of UNCW's Excellence in E-Learning Award. In this video, I'll break down my approach to teaching online by identifying 2 practices that you can use to ensure you are providing effective online instruction. Teaching online enables and requires instructors to create innovative ways for students to learn. In my virtual classrooms, I make this happen with 2 practices: grounding my approach in pedagogy and designing my courses for optimal usability. There is no doubt that we should pay critical attention to the emergent nature of online educational technologies, or that learning management software, or LMS, such as Blackboard, has a stark influence on pedagogical choices. No matter your field, grounding your approach to teaching online in your own pedagogy will enhance the quality of instruction you provide to students. To inform my approach to teaching online, and again, I'm an English person, I draw from Sue Hum's Pedagogy for Online Place, which works within the affordances of software design, students, and teachers' pedagogy. This means I must find a way to balance my students' needs, my own pedagogy, and the technology I will use to deliver the course. Hum suggests that developing a pedagogy for online place begins with the understanding of the affordances of emerging media and educational software. The term affordances in this context refers to the distinct potentials and limitations for representation of the various modes. In other words, once an instructor is aware of the affordances of their LMS, then he or she is then able to make informed, deliberate choices to support student success. I agree with Cynthia Self's assertion that deciding whether or not to use technology in our classes is simply not the point. We have to pay attention to technology. Therefore, I am continuously educating myself on the latest and most useful educational technologies and tools. For example, I routinely attend the Office of E-Learning's workshops and trainings to enhance my online teaching. This training has enabled me to reconsider my delivery of online courses from a much more informed perspective. I have taught well over 10 online courses just over the past 4 years, and through these teaching experiences, I have become very adept at teaching courses online via Blackboard, and then supplementing with a variety of e-tools to enhance the course. For instance, I may also use Google Drive, Google Sites, Dropbox, YouTube, iTunes U, bContext, WebEx, and textbook companion sites, among other things, to deliver a more substantial online course for our students. Or maybe I won't. Through immersion, practice, and play, I work to understand learning technologies in order to make informed, deliberate choices about which learning technologies or tools will bring about student success, and which will be unnecessarily distracting or confusing. In an online English 110 course, for example, this means deciding to use content folders rather than learning modules because I find them much more user-friendly, and many of my students have reported similar sentiments. Learning modules are standard for the OAP Blackboard template, however, so working within the affordances of our LMS, Blackboard, I simply broke up our weekly units into content folders and then retitled them as learning modules so that our Blackboard interface remains consistent for the students. Or using Blackboard's discussion board tool to facilitate online peer review assignments. From the instructor's perspective, this tool works with my pedagogy that places an emphasis on the writing process. It enables students to do everything I need them to, like attach files, insert videos, or post comments. And the way Blackboard organizes students' threads makes the assignment easier to grade in the long run. From the student's perspective, this tool accommodates asynchronous work, is likely to be familiar, and therefore less intimidating or distracting, and recreates the collaborative, conversational environment of a traditional in-class peer review experience, at least to some extent. So, developing my own version of a pedagogy for online place enables me to effectively coordinate the affordances of technology, students, and my own pedagogy grounded in social epistemic principles. No matter your field, grounding your approach to teaching online in pedagogy will enhance the quality of instruction you provide to students. Another way to ensure you're providing quality online instruction is to design your courses for optimal usability. I've taught well over 100 students in online courses, and the only constant among them is that they all struggle to use technology to effectively complete coursework. One of the biggest lessons I've learned while teaching online is that while most of our students have smartphones, tablets, and laptops, this does not necessarily mean that they are expert or even proficient users of these tools. For example, I see them struggle to use word processing software and attach files, navigate Blackboard, conduct web-based research through Randall Library, complete activities on course companion sites, and to compose and send emails. In my experience, this does not vary very much whether we are talking about non-traditional distance learners or traditional UNCW students enrolled in online courses. So no matter what platform I am using, I always strive to apply my knowledge of the affordances of the technology available to me to design my courses for optimal usability. Steve Krug's Don't Make Me Think, a common sense approach to web usability has had a very strong influence on my approach to online course design. Even though the title suggests that this approach could be counterproductive to learning, designing for optimal usability ensures that everyone is really able to learn. In short, usability really just means making sure that something works well, that a person of average or even below average ability and experience can use the thing for its intended purpose without getting hopelessly frustrated. When my students enter the Blackboard interface for our course, I've designed it so that they should be able to get it, what it is, and how to use it without expending any effort thinking about it. If my students don't have to think about how to use our web space, then they're able to focus their thoughts on completing coursework to the best of their ability. When it comes to course and content design, I keep it simple with Billboard Design 101. Create a clear visual hierarchy on each page. Take advantage of conventions. Break up pages into clearly defined areas. Make it obvious what is clickable. And minimize noise. You can see the influence of these principles in the big picture overall structure of my online course, like on the Blackboard home page titled Start Here. I've taken advantage of conventions to break the page up into clearly defined areas, i.e. the left sidebar and the content area, and to create a clear visual hierarchy on the page by arranging each item in order of importance from top to bottom. The billboard design plays out in each major content area, like learning modules, and in corresponding sub-content, and in this case, that's Module 2, the unit students will work through during the second week of class. You can also see the influence of these principles in the little picture, individual item, or assignment level in my courses. A billboard principle to keep close to your heart is to make it obvious what's clickable. In other words, if you cannot click it, then it should not be underlined. If it is underlined, then it should be a functional link. In a discussion assignment, I'll include links to things like the rubric and other resources related to the assignment, like the library. Instead of underlining text, I'll use capital letters, bold, or color to break up the page and the assignment into clearly defined areas. This improves overall readability and therefore understanding. Another thing to keep in mind when designing your online courses is the billboard principle to minimize noise. From the Start Here page down to an individual essay assignment, you won't find very many bells or whistles in my online courses. I shy away from fancy fonts, selectively include images and videos, and create a color scheme that I would characterize as pretty much black and white. This may be a little too boring, but it guarantees that my students, many of whom are non-traditional distance learners, can access and use all the materials they need to learn with minimal distraction. No discussion of usability would be complete without the inclusion of ADA compliance, something I factor in as another part of usability, at least in my approach. The Americans with Disabilities Act provides standards that require all electronic information to be accessible to those with disabilities. Student disabilities can be visual, hearing, motor, cognitive, or learning disabilities. Our LMS, Blackboard, is considered to be an ADA-compliant platform. However, course materials added to the LMS can still be non-compliant, materials like videos. You can learn all about ADA compliance, find resources, and even sign up for an ADA compliance workshop by visiting the UNCW Office of E-Learning's website. They offer an amazing ADA compliance checklist that I keep posted on my bulletin board. In sum, designing your courses for optimal usability is another way to ensure you're providing quality online instruction. Think about your course design from the perspective of a student user and work to remove one of the largest barriers to the success of your online students: technology-induced frustration and despair. So, what are 2 practices that I use to make my online classes a success? I ground my approach to teaching online in pedagogy, and I design my courses for optimal usability. These are obviously not the only effective practices for online success, and there is certainly a whole lot more to talk about when it comes to best practices in online teaching. These are simply 2 practices that are working well for me. What are your practices for online success? I welcome further feedback and discussion. Please feel free to contact me with questions or to collaborate. A list of references is also available in the video transcript. Thank you for watching.